Champ, what is happening? Welcome back to another training. So if you're sick and tired of doing short-term diets, never really seeing a way out of things, thinking about having to be really over-restrictive, maybe you hate tracking food, maybe you hate meal planners, whatever it is, in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the hybrid nutrition system, which is a system that I've coined and have helped hundreds of guys inside the hybrid project lose 10 kilos of body fat in their first 12 weeks and ultimately keep it off for the rest of their life, because this system works wonders. So first and foremost, let me bring it over to my screen. So again, this is where the hybrid nutrition system freedom meets results or meets flexibility. So I want to speak to you about the traditional way of dieting, is that most diets fail because they are A, unsustainable, or two, demotivating. People look at a meal plan and go, I can't stick to that. Or people look at tracking and go, it's well too overwhelming. Like it's just very unsustainable. And you know, you could argue that dieting is unsustainable because you're not meant to diet forever. Of course you're not. But you want something that you can enjoy. And the success for me and my team is that I had a call with Juan yesterday. Doesn't feel like he's dieting, although he's 9 kilos down in the last 6 weeks. So that's what it's all about when it comes to dieting. I said why strict meal plans don't work long term. Inflexibility, you eat the same thing all the time. There's no rigidity. You can't enjoy meals out. You can't, you know, your family's cooking something in the evening. You can't have that. It's very, very inflexible. Monotony, it's the same thing over and over again. And as said, number 3 is that social isolation. So you don't get to eat out when other people are eating out. It's way too restrictive for my liking. And that's why I don't like it on its own. Of course, it comes with its benefits, which we'll talk through in a second. But most of the time, it is unsustainable. The next thing is like tracking calories is also unsustainable on its own, because it can be time consuming, it can be inaccurate sometimes, it can be very overwhelming when you've got a full library of foods. You go to track your food on MyFitnessPal or NutriCheck or any other app, and you've got 10 different options based on a skinny latte, for example. Very overwhelming, very inaccurate, and it can become a little bit obsessive over time as well. So that's why I introduced the hybrid nutrition model, which gives you structure, it gives you flexibility, and it also gives you balance with your nutrition, which is absolutely key. So if I bring you over to my iPad, I'm going to walk you through this. So my hybrid nutrition system merges both of these things together. You've got structure on one side, which usually comes from you have a meal planner. But again, we're going to call it a meal planner for now. But structure is the most important thing. And then flexibility is also important, but that comes from tracking. So we are actually combining both of the above, both flexibility and both with structure, so that if you go out on a weekend, you know what to do. If you have a meal in the evening with the family, you know what to do. You have structure in your day, so you know what to do. It's about having complete clarity on what you're doing. And if you've watched my videos before, or you've been around for a while, you understand that clarity is the most important thing, especially when it comes to nutrition. I think that you should have complete clarity on what you're doing, and you also should keep it simple. So what I do inside the hybrid project with my team to allow this is, I'm just going to change this pen size because it is a little bit too big. Number 1 is that we create structure. So what we do with structure is we build out meals throughout the day. So you might have meal 1, meal 2. And again, we also call this a 2+1 approach, where realistically between the hours of, let's say, 7 a.m. and 5 p.m., they are usually working hours, getting me into the day, and you are in control of your nutrition between them 2 hours. So in the day, we want to try and take the overwhelm out of it as much as possible and stick to the same couple of meals or the same couple of variants of each meal. So because, for example, most people assume that they have to constantly change up their diet or have something new every single day, and that just creates too much overwhelm. For me, I like to keep things simple. I eat the same things all the time with different varieties. So one of my go-to meals in the morning is egg. So it's boiled egg on toast. It could be fried eggs on a bagel, it could be scrambled egg on sourdough, whatever it is. I could add bacon to that, I could add chicken sausages to that. There's so much variety inside that one meal as it is. And then meal 2 is also pretty similar for me. So it's either going to be overnight oats if it's more in the winter time. In the summertime, it's more going to be Greek yogurt and fruit and meringue and stuff like that. And I know that's going to be pretty much my meals throughout the day. So when we get to the evening time, this is where it becomes a little bit more flexible, because this is where other people are involved in the decision making. 9 times out of 10, family or partner is involved in the evening meal. So if you have a partner, of course, they might not be on a diet, or, your kids aren't on a diet, and, you've already got to cook their chicken nuggets and chips, and your missus wants something else, etc. So there's other people involved in this decision making, whereas we save enough calories for this evening meal so that you don't have to be super, super strict. So, for example, if your calories are 2,000 for easy maths, in the day you could have 1,000 calories worth of food, and then after five, you could also have 1,000 calories worth of food, which means that evening meal might be a little bit more higher calorie, which is absolutely fine. So you can see what we're sort of doing. We're creating the structure through the day to day, but then we're also having the flexibility with A, meals, but B, tracking food as well. So the same thing can be applied when it comes to the weekends as well. The reason that meal plans on their own, or, really, really tight structure doesn't work is because what happens on the weekend if someone says, "Oh, do you want to go for lunch, or do you want to go for a meal, or you've got a social event, or you've got a work do?" A lot of my clients travel for work and take people out for lunches. What happens then? And that's where you've got the flexibility of like for like. So tracking food, if I bring it back over here, tracking is great for understanding these things. Education around what's in what, and then it also gives you an idea of where you're at. So what I mean by this is, if you are sticking to the same structures pretty much throughout the week, etc., throughout the day, if you go for a lunch, let's choose, you want to try and have a meal which is like for like. So what I mean by that is, as I said earlier, if I'm having an egg dish every single day and I go out for a meal with a client, or I go for breakfast with a client like I'm doing tomorrow, I'll have an egg-based dish. I'll have egg on toast in some variety. So although you've got the flexibility to going out and choose these different options, you're keeping things really in that structured, tight space as well. So it just works really, really well by balancing both nutrition with your tracking food and also having the structure there thrown on a day-to-day basis. So give that a go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you have any questions, you want me to expand a little bit more on this, let me know. But that is the hybrid nutrition system, and I hope you find that useful.